Now, to introduce Lynn a little bit, Lynn Preston is a focusing-oriented relational psychotherapist, teacher, and supervisor. She's the director of the Experiential Psychotherapy Project in New York City. She has written and presented internationally on the integration of focusing and relational psychoanalysis. She has an abiding interest in the exploration of the relationship between philosophy, theory, and practice. And she also told me that she likes to make things accessible to everyday people like us.
Thank you very much, Henry. Sometimes people will say, what is a focusing-oriented relational therapist, including Jean Genlin will say to me, what do you mean? What is that? And through the years, I've always wanted to emphasize the relational aspect of focusing-oriented therapy. And Jean and I have had a lot of dialogues about that. Some of them you may have seen, actually. There are videos of our dialogues. And I've answered that question in many ways through the years. And I just came up with the answer that is simplest and that is most meaningful to Jean, is that a focusing-oriented relational therapist is emphasizing spelling out the implications of interaction first, that we are interaction. So I'm very interested in what it means that we are interaction, and that healing and thinking and everything that we do has to do with the kind of interaction that we are living in the moment. The talk that I'm doing today is related to thinking at the edge, but it's pared down to making the ways in which focusing can open up thinking and ideas for us more direct and more accessible. Then thinking at the edge takes a little bit more study and practice, I believe. So this will be related to that idea. I'm going to just start with, what do we mean by an idea? What's an idea? I'm looking over here at Catherine. It doesn't mean that I don't have you in mind, but Catherine is a face I can see. A simple way that we can think of an idea is a way of creatively thinking about something. A creative way of thinking would be the way that I'm using the term idea. And we're going to be exploring what ideas are and how we relate to them. My purpose, one of my purposes in giving this webinar is to win you over to my point of view that ideas are not abstractions. They're not floating up here, and they're not things that you can put on a shelf and then 2 years later take it down and it's there. An idea is a living experience. It's a living experience that has a shelf life, that is a relationship, that is a system, and that's what we're going to be exploring. And focusing is a way of making a creative relationship with ideas and carrying them forward, and recognizing sometimes we just live thinking that ideas are like the air. We breathe them, we don't even know, we don't pay attention to, oh, this is an idea. The other thing that I want to present is a kind of demystification of the idea that thinking has to be original. I don't believe any ideas are original. That to me is sort of like the sense of a baby without a history, without generations of input, without, a baby is always new and original. But a baby isn't just mine. When a child comes from a whole lineage, and the child has its own life, and ideas are that way too. The experience of it being original and creative is another thing. We can have the experience of something that seems, wow, I never thought of that before. But when an idea that somebody else has or a tradition has strikes us, and we deeply think about it, it becomes ours, and it's not the same. My Buddhist ideas aren't the same as the ones that Buddha had. They're sort of Buddhist Preston ideas. They develop through me. I'm digesting them, carrying them forward, and coming up with something that's a new integration. So I'm hoping to show you all of that. The way that I would introduce myself for this occasion is to say that I am an idea person and always have been. I was an only child and somewhat isolated, and ideas were my playmates. Ideas were my friends. Ideas opened up the world to me. As a young teenager, like 11 or 12, I was introduced to going to church, and I had a Bible for the first time, and I would sort of hang out or hide out in my father's old jalopy in Brooklyn, and I would pore over this Bible, and I would find these amazing ideas that opened up the world. Like, for example, you're thinking, well, what ideas? Like Jesus saying, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." So here I am, this isolated 12-year-old, and I think, wow, I like that idea of being set free. What is this truth? What is truth? What is that? And I think at that time I thought that what it meant was that there's a particular understanding that you can find through the Bible, perhaps, and that understanding will save you from all of your bondage and all of your troubles, and it will, like a butterfly, it will set you free. And that was very exciting. But ideas never stay the same. When you incorporate an idea, it grows with you as you grow. And the way I think of that same thing now, it still excites me. But the way I think about it now, especially after studying Jean's philosophy, is that you can recognize the truth, because the truth gives you this experience of freedom. And when you have that sense of freedom inside, like, oh, I can move differently, I can breathe differently, then there's truth in that. It might be a different truth tomorrow. It doesn't mean that it will always stay the same. So I'm just trying to give you a little idea here of my history with ideas. And I want to pass on to you, to share with you, a little book that Cynthia Carlson brought to our advanced focusing oriented relational therapy seminar. And it was so moving to the group and to me. And I shared this little book with Jean, and he loved it. I went to his house and read it to him. And And he was like a little kid being very excited about what happened with the idea and the character in the book. So I'm going to ask Henry to show you the pictures and to read this children's book to you and listen to it the way a child would listen to it. Just, what does this author say an idea is? And what do you do with an idea?
Okay. Thank you, Lynn. I've shared the screen, so I'm hoping that everyone can see the picture book on their screen. And make sure to full screen if you're not full screen to see all the pictures. Okay, so this book is by Kobe Yamada and called What Do You Do with an Idea? Oops. Okay. One day I had an idea. Where did it come from? Why is it here? I wondered. What do you do with an idea? At first, I didn't think much of it. It seemed kind of strange and fragile. I didn't know what to do with it, so I just walked away from it. I acted like it didn't belong to me. But it followed me. I worried what others would think. What would people say about my idea? I kept it to myself. I hid it away. Oops. I hid it away and didn't talk about it. I tried to act like everything was the same as it was before my idea showed up. But there was something magical about my idea. I had to admit, I felt better and happier when it was around. It wanted food. It wanted to play. Actually, it wanted a lot of attention. It grew bigger, and we became friends. I showed it to other people, even though I was afraid of what they would say. I was afraid that if people saw it, they would laugh at it. I was afraid they would think it was silly. And many of them did. They said it was no good. They said it was too weird. They said it was a waste of time and that it would never become anything. And at first, I believed them. I actually thought about giving up on my idea. I almost listened to them. But then I realized, what do they really know? This is my idea, I thought. No one knows it like I do. And it's okay if it's different and weird and maybe a little crazy.
This is the point at the book where Gene got so excited when he sticks up for his idea and he doesn't believe that it's silly, and Gene just became so excited and alive like a little kid.
And it's okay if it's different and weird and maybe a little crazy. I decided to protect it, to care for it. I fed it good food. I worked with it, I played with it. But most of all, I gave it my attention. My idea grew and grew, and so did my love for it. I builded a new house, one with a roof, an open roof, where it could look up at the stars, a place where it could be safe to dream. I liked being with my idea. It made me feel more alive, like I could do anything. It encouraged me to think big, and then to think bigger. It shared its secrets with me. It showed me how to walk on my hands. Because, it said, it is good to have the ability to see things differently. I couldn't imagine my life without it. Then one day, something amazing happened. My idea changed right before my very eyes. It spread its wings, took flight, and burst into the sky. I don't know how to describe it, but it went from being here to being everywhere. It wasn't just a part of me anymore. It was now a part of everything. And then I realized what you do with an idea. You change the world. I think that's it, right?
Yes, yes. Catherine and I both have tears in our eyes. I've read this book aloud to people and heard it, and every time at the end I feel so moved by that. An idea changes the world. It changes us inside, and then as we're new, it changes the world. I love in this book how it really shows that an idea is something that we have a relationship with, and that it comes to us and it's ours. We're responsible for it. This book is such a focusing book, how it comes and then we give it our attention. But then the idea that's my idea isn't only my idea. It becomes the idea that's in the zeitgeist. It becomes something that's shared, something that other people will elaborate and live differently than I live it. And yet, one may have a lifelong relationship with certain ideas. Other ideas may be just acquaintances. Let me just pause for a minute and see if there's anything that you want to say about this book before I continue to make more remarks about it. So now Henry's going to read any remarks or questions that you have.
Oh, there's just, is this book out of print or could I purchase it?
Oh, yes, you can purchase it. I got it on Amazon.
And I'll just contribute while people are probably typing. It always takes there's always a little delay. Hello,
Yes,
gang.
come right in here, Catherine.
That Lynn had tried to send this book to me prior to the meeting today, and I couldn't open it up on my computer, and so this was the first time I got to see it. And it, as Lynn said, it really brought tears to my eyes. It was just so, I just kept commenting, you know, I put her and me on mute during it, and I just kept saying, this is focusing. This is just so, just a beautiful, well, it shows you how ideas, actually it's a demonstration of that, right? Because focusing as an idea and thinking at the edge as an idea, this other person had the same idea and put it into a book form. He expressed it in a way differently than Jean and the rest of us. So it's an instance of itself.
Yes. Maybe while they're writing, we could say some of the things about the book that are focusing, like the sense that an idea comes. We can't make an idea.
Yes.
We don't. It comes from this implicit realm, and then it wants something.
It wants something. What I really loved was it wants attention. That came up a couple of times in the book.
Yes.
That it wants our attention.
Yes.
And I know that when I've taught focusing, one of the first things that I learned in focusing, and one of the things that I always say to people who are new to it is, especially if you're clearing a space, the question then is, okay, which of those, if I've cleared a space, what does one of those things out there want my attention? Not which one do I think I should focus on.
Right, that's right.
But which one is calling most for my attention?
Yes. The understanding that the idea, the felt sense, has its own life. And we need to hear from it, and it wants something from us.
Yes.
You know, one of the reasons that we get so angry and upset at ideas that we disagree with, some that we violently disagree with, is that those ideas are wanting something from us that we don't want. They're asking us to be or do things that we don't agree with, don't believe in. And ideas that are sort of inspiring to us are asking us to do or be something that we want to do or be.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a conversation I had with a friend, but I think we're getting some, are we getting some questions here?
Yes, we are.
Maybe let's hear what
other people's questions.
Yeah. I could talk forever about it.
Yes.
Okay, so Richard asks, does the idea have you, or do you have the idea?
That's a lovely, lovely question. and I want to say it's both, right? And the book showed that so well. We have the idea comes to us, and the idea also chooses us. The idea has us. Another way of saying that is that ideas live in us. Sometimes we don't even notice that we're living from, through, toward our ideas. And also, we live in ideas. The zeitgeist, this present time, our situatedness in history and in the location, the culture that we live, the family that we live, that we live within a community of ideas. And some of the ideas that we live within, we cherish and want to further. And sometimes we can live within ideas that we that we want to challenge, and that we want to deconstruct and think through, rather than just accepting the ideas that we live within. So it really is both.
Maybe a related question. Oh, well, was Miriam saying relational field with the idea, and then she says, scratch that. Smiley face. Maybe after you spoke.
Yes, well, the relational field is certainly made up of ideas, and we can open up the relational field by really looking at, feeling into the implicit ideas that this relational field is living from. So that's what we do in therapy often, say, well, what is it that we're experiencing now? And how is that made? And how are we doing that? And what is this feeling?
So there are some people who are just expressing how Elizabeth is saying, this is so inspiring and the illustrations are so beautiful and alive. And thank you for sharing it with us. And Miriam also agrees. So enjoyed the story and illustrations. So some people are writing questions twice. Note that I am receiving your questions. You won't see them until I click on them. And another person, Randy loves saying tears, touching. I want to buy about 5 copies. We're focusing friends.
That's what I did. I gave them to lots of people.
And parents of young children. Maybe we should get the copyright. And someone is asking, what if an idea is not a golden one with a crown, but a black one with devil horns? How to deal with that?
Yeah.
Love that question.
Yes. I think that there's that answer the question with an idea from Jean's clinical work, and that idea is that everything. This is something that I live from and work from. Every human experience, including every human idea, has an implicit forward movement inherent to it, implied in it. You know, so a black idea, let me think of one, or a devil idea. An idea that this would be a primal idea for me, what we call in psychoanalysis an organizing principle, that my being is only valid if I'm helping other people. A lot of therapists have this kind of devil idea that I'm only worth how much I'm producing. So what do I do with that idea? And it's often these ideas, the devil ideas, we don't even know that they're ideas. We just believe that that's the way the world is or something. So if I take that apart and I say, well, how did I get that idea? What does it do? What does it want? I can find an understanding of the idea, maybe with this, and we might have all different understandings, but I would say that idea for me was a very early way of making sure that I had connection as a lonely, isolated child, that if I was useful to people, I would be connected, and maybe I wouldn't be connected or worth anything if I wasn't being useful. So when I understand that and I say, oh, it really wants me to be connected, and it's trying its best, this idea, in its sort of primal way to help me to make sure that I'm not going to be forgotten and I'm going to be connected. then I can sort of see the idea as, oh, it's trying to do something, but I don't have to take it literally. There was a bumper sticker, and I often quote this because I love it so much. I don't believe everything that I think. So when an idea comes, first we need to know that it is an idea. It's not just reality, it's an idea. Do we believe this idea? How do we relate to this idea? What does it mean? Let's not take the ideas literally. We can take them seriously without taking them literally. And sort of feel, with focusing, we can feel into the idea. Say, what is it doing? What is it wanting? What is it trying for? So that's a very brief response to a very profound question.
So you had, it's about 10, about 10 after 1, and you had wanted to start on your points around now.
Yes, are there any pressing? In a way, I have started on my points, okay, but I think I can take off from here. Okay.
You have another last question, maybe.
We're going to be informal here, and collaborative, and not stick to the. That's another idea that we can be improvisational.
Excellent.
Yeah, and Lynn, I'm noticing you're clear as you sit closer, which is nice. Thanks.
Oh, good.
So this person's asking, as an artist, I get lots of ideas that often don't get my attention because others have demanded my attention first. So can you include all that come in, or file them so you can come back and lose them or forget them?
Oh, that's such a wonderful, wonderful question. And I'm an artist also, so I really can relate to that. All of the ideas that want our attention. And how do you choose? It's sort of like the woman in the shoe that had so many children, she didn't know what to do. Here's all these children, all these ideas that want our attention. And Catherine before was saying, in clearing a space, you can sort of put them out and say, what most needs my attention, or what strikes me right now to pay attention to. Another thing is that all of the ideas together are a kind of family. And we can find the felt sense of the whole of this group of ideas, even when they're contradictory, even when they're arguing with each other. They are in relation to each other, and finding what is the relationship of these ideas. How are they fitting together, or how are they not fitting together? How are they interacting with each other? Again, the notion that ideas are living and have relationships. This is one of the points that I want to make, that maybe I can make now, is that ideas don't only belong to us. They have their own life. Ideas have a history, a lineage. They have relationships with other ideas. You know, so an idea that I have, that the truth shall set you free, for example, might be in contradiction and an enemy of an idea that, as a therapist, I should find the best answer, the right way of looking at something that will be helpful. And maybe these two ideas are having a fight with each other. What do I do? I sort of am making a place for both. Well, there's something about wanting the very best response that is tried and true somehow. Like something in me might feel that. And something says, but whatever it is that makes us free, whatever it is that brings us alive, is the truth, is the idea to go with. So I might just be with this argument and let it be alive. We don't need to, and this is something, again, that I've learned from Jean's philosophy, that we don't have to decide which ideas are right and which ideas are wrong. We don't have to be in opposition to certain ideas that preclude other ideas. We can be large enough to make a space for all of the ideas that present themselves, and the arguments and the questions and the challenges that the dialogue with them and each with each other brings us into. Sort of like Greg Madison has gotten me very interested in this idea in a democracy, that we can make room for all of the voices within the person, not choose, oh, this is the healthy one, and this is the not healthy one. This is the successful one, and this is the one that's going to lead to demise. We don't have to do that. We can make room for all of the voices and see what that lively experience of interaction, what that makes. And then between people, of course, we can make room for all of the voices, and in communities and in the world. But understanding that we have a relationship to an idea, and that it has its own relationships, that it may historically be an enemy to another set of ideas. So a scientific way of thinking empirically may historically be enemies with a philosophical idea. And just understanding that lineage, that these ideas have been enemies, can they get together? Can they get together in us? Can we make a place for both of them? So that's one point. Catherine, why don't you read us some points and we'll talk about them. Let's see how much time I have.
So I'll read one and then pause, and you can tell me to move on.
Sure.
Okay. So these are what Lynn has written out.
Yes, and you have them in your notes.
And okay.
Yeah.
Ideas have a life of their own. They are not static things. They are living, changing, interactive systems.
Right.
We have relationships with them, and they with each other. They live in communities. They have heritages and intentions. Ideas are not separate from feelings.
Right. Ideas and feelings are part of the felt sense. They work together. The idea, the feeling, the body is all one system. Another thing that's good to say here is that sometimes people value the idea part of that system, and they think that's intellectual, that's smart, that's good, that's the answer, and they devalue the feeling part of the body part. And then other groups of people value the body part and maybe the feeling part, and devalue the thinking part. And what I love about focusing is this understanding that that these are all dimensions of one felt sense, and that they work together. This is the place where I want to say that ideas are not abstractions. They aren't just something floating. They are something that have impact on everything that we do and feel and live. They have an impact on our attitudes and our values and our intentions. And when we can get to know them and to have a better relationship with them, then our world can be much richer and bigger. And there are people who say, "Oh, I can't think creatively. I'm just a very practical person, and I don't have ideas." I have several friends that say things like that, and I have friends who say, I don't feel things emotionally. I just think them. I just think my thoughts, but I don't feel things." And we know from focusing that every thought has a cognitive. Every feeling has a cognitive aspect to it, and every cognition has a felt sense to it. And we can open up these other channels and see ourselves, value ourselves as channels for creative thinking by simply giving our attention to and I'm going to give a little demonstration of that in a few minutes. Let's see what else we have to say before I do that.
So you just covered the next one, which is thinking and feeling and body sensing as one system. Good. Really what you were just saying.
Yeah.
And then the last note that you put here is focusing brings the implicit idea into articulation, and as you spell it out, they evolve.
Right. Yes, that was shown so nicely in the little book, that when the idea first comes, it's fragile and weird. And where people sometimes get stuck is that they're not expecting that fuzzy edge that we have in focusing, where an idea doesn't come full blown. It comes as this little inkling of something. It may come as a little wondering. It may come as a question. It may come as a life challenge, like in my early 20s, I was thinking, how do people make love relationships? How do they make marriage? What is that? What is that thing that people do? How do you do that? That would be coming from a life, but there are many, many ideas in that about how we make relationships, about attraction, about there are endless ideas that evolve and about from such a life issue. And as we give it attention, then different strands of the idea form, and it grows the way a tree grows, with all these branches and fruit, and it's very, very different than the tiny little delicate thing that comes at the beginning. Is that it for my points?
That is it for your points, and I noticed that someone asked, maybe you will include this question in your talk, but just wondering what kind of of attention do ideas like? I assume focusing would be a perfect form of attention. That seems like a great segue
Yes.
into having somebody focus
Right.
on it.
Oh, what a wonderful question. What kind of attention do ideas like? What kind of food do they like? How do they like us to play with them? And maybe different kinds of ideas like different foods, sort of like different animals like different foods. My new cat loves mice. She goes out and she eats the entire mouse. Ugh.
Ugh.
She thinks that's the best way of having your breakfast. I disapprove very much of her idea, but she said, well, I was eating a chicken, so I shouldn't talk. Anyway, different ideas may need different kinds of attention, but focusing is a wonderful way to give ideas attention, and we're going to do that. I would invite you to get a pencil, and if you're old-fashioned enough, you have them in your house, or pen, and an actual piece of paper, sort of like this. My generation, we had paper. So you might jot down, well, you could do it on your phone, actually. You might jot down something that comes to you as I do this little focusing exercise with you.
Should they have the handout that was sent, or that doesn't matter right now?
Yes, let's put it on the screen. You don't have to look at it, but just in case you're a visual person and you want to have these questions on the screen, we'll put them up for you.
So Henry,
so you don't have to see me.
Would you be able to put up the handout with this? This is what Lynn is talking about. So,
Sure, yep. I'm just going to
okay, great.
find it. And
Now, I'm not going to be saying it probably exactly the way it is here, but you'll get the point. And people who know focusing know to do it your own way anyway. I'm just suggesting something, but if something else comes to you, you know to tune me out and to tune into yourself. You know that. So first, we're just going to take a couple of breaths and give ourselves a minute to absorb the idea of ideas, to absorb the experience of focusing on ideas. That for some of you is very familiar, and for others may seem a little odd. Get re-centered in our bodies, our breathing. Being held up by the chair. And when you're ready, see if there is an idea that has been important to you that arises. It might be an idea that you found early in life that shaped you or inspired you. It may be a very recent idea. It may be something that you heard or read or found. It might be something that just came to you, like the character in the book, where the idea just came. And of course, for many of you, there are many, a multiplicity of ideas. But see if there's one that wants you to play with it, to attend to it, to be with it right now. Those of you who are therapists might think of a theoretical concept, or those of you who are have other professions might think of a theoretical concept. You might think of something that's inspired your life, or something you found to be true. And when you find that idea, put it in your own words and jot it down on your paper. Ideas often have names that are given to them, like the idea of democracy, for example. We don't, for this, want to use the given name. We want to find our own way of saying the idea. It took me a little bit when I was talking to Greg about democracy to rethink, well, what does that word, what does that concept mean to me? What is that? So I want you to take that moment to say, what is that idea? And give it its own nickname, and put it into a sentence. And when you've given it a name, see if there's a body feel to that name and that idea. How is it living in you? What does it do inside you? Is it comforting? Is it challenging? Is it queasy? Is it? See if you could find felt sense words for how the idea feels in you in an actual, palpable, bodily way. And when you're ready, think of an instance in your life of this idea. Maybe, how it manifests for you. An example of it. What it is in action. Or maybe how it came to you. Action of how it came to you. Ideas don't just sit around being intellectual. Ideas do things in us. They do things in the world. What does that idea do in you? Or in the world, or in others that you know? Does this idea ask or demand something from you? Sometimes the playing with ideas is like a ball game where the idea says something and then I say something, and then the idea says something, I say something. Ideas are always dialogic. They're always part of a dialogue. They're always part of a conversation. Let's see if there's something that the idea is asking of you or demanding of you. And then see if you could find a fuzzy edge of the idea that calls for more exploration. This idea may be very, very familiar to you. Maybe you loved it your whole life. But still, if you look, there'll be something that you don't know about it. Just like a person that you love, that you've loved your whole life. There's some things you don't know about this person. Some things that are puzzling. Sort of like looking at the idea in a new way or newly, like the character in the book was looking at it upside down. And see if you could find that edge of exploration, of questions that you might ask it, or ways that you might newly think about it. Let's write those down. I'm not going to ask you the last 3 questions right now because you've taken in a lot. But I'll say them, but we won't focus on them right now. We'll give you a chance to give space to the ones we've already asked. But later on, maybe this evening, you can ask yourself, what do you know about the territory of this idea that maybe the idea as it came to you or as it was given to you didn't have? How can you further it? It's a good question to ask when you're rested and you say, what do I already know about this thing that nobody said before? What idea of your own is peeping up from underneath, wanting a chance to be born? Often that comes from curiosity or from worry or concern that something will be peeping up, wanting to be spelled out. And the last thing is to welcome whatever emerges, as we always do in focusing, to give it a name. The naming of a felt sense is sort of its first way of being marked and seen in the world, to have a name. Just like with a baby, you give it a name, you welcome it into the world. And we want to do that with our ideas, our questions, to give them our own name. And then that name also requires some focusing to find just the right name that matches the felt sense of it. So let's take a couple of breaths. See if there's anything that's left over from this focusing. Jot anything down. Make that transition to come back to the group. I'm going to run and get another glass of water while you're doing that. And we can ask for any questions, experiences that you want to write in there.
So in case you didn't hear Lynn because she was stepping away, just please feel free to write just anything at all in the Q&A box about anything at all that you experienced or want to share or want to ask.
And Catherine, I think this is the place where Lynn also wanted that people, one or two people might come on to share. And so if you feel comfortable to come on live with your video, please write in the box, please show my video. And when I see that you want me to show your video, I can invite you as a panelist. Zoom would automatically, if you accept my invitation, Zoom will log out and log you back in automatically.
That's if people want to come on and be seen and have a little bit of a dialogue with Lynn. Is that right, Henry?
That's correct.
I'm back.
So we were just explaining that Henry's invited people if they would like to come on their video.
Oh, wow, good.
Let's see what we get.
And people can write in also
Right.
about their experience.
Right.
Both.
I think that was clear. I hope so. I'm a little closer so I can hear you better. Maybe I'll share a little while we're waiting for people. Is that all right, Lynn?
Oh, absolutely.
While we're waiting.
Anytime.
So I was a little, at the invitation to share about an idea, I spent a fair amount of time. There was an idea that I had recently that I had talked to a fellow focuser about, because it struck me as a great idea for a thinking at the edge process. And I had written it down in a notebook, but I don't have that notebook with me. So I spent a fair amount of time seeing if I could get back to what was that idea.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to do that. So I wasn't able to do everything that you asked me. So I scribbled down a few other kind of ideas that I had, but I didn't then at that point have the time or ability to follow what you were saying, do the process. But what I kind of want to share is that one thing that really came to me strongly was thinking about that beautiful book and the idea of ideas, is that when I do have that very beginning of an idea, and I had one just the other day. I was walking through Central Park in New York City, and there was an interaction, a very typical interaction between a little girl and her parent. She picked something up from the ground and put it in her mouth. This happens a million times to parents.
Right.
And the mother said, no, and the girl of course starts to cry because she's been. And I thought about whether isn't it kind of necessary in the world that we as individuals, our individual inclinations get suppressed in order to live in a society. So that was sort of an idea.
I want to say back the kernel of this was, do we need to be suppressed in certain ways in order to live in community?
In community. Because I rapidly had this whole process where, you know, the little girl felt shame. I think that probably shame would be a thing that a child is feeling when they're told no. And the mother was right to say no to the girl. She wasn't wrong to say no to the girl. But the child's process is kind of a shaming, maybe we could say. And that's why the tears are so intense. You know, mommy was displeased, and I feel this thing that maybe we could call shame. But I mean, maybe we can get into the fine points of should the mother have done it differently. That's not the important part for me. The important part was just this whole question to me. We don't want people to feel these things of shame or any kind of suppression. But then we're social beings, and we need to live in a society. So that was the little kernel of an idea.
So that this idea is a question. Often ideas come as a question, a puzzlement.
A puzzlement.
Right. Do we need shame and suppression in order to be human?
In order to be a human being who lives in a society, which we all want to do.
We are interaction. We are this living together. And is shame and suppression a necessary part of this interactive being that we are?
And so the thing I really want to communicate to you is that in this process that you led us through, I thought what often stops me from letting an idea go forward or sharing it with anyone is that you now in this moment, as a focusing person and just the wonderful Lynn Preston that you are, you repeat that back to me with in that way that's inviting me to explore.
Yes.
But many people, if I were to share that idea, and if they didn't have focusing, they would say shame, always bad. Suppression, always bad. Or, you know, they would come back. So what I wrote was people in the world will react in ways that scare the idea back into a hole.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? That people may unwittingly react in such a way that instead of bringing out the idea, helping it to grow, helping it to be strong, will scare it back into its hole.
And scare me. Oh yes, right. Okay, I can't say that shame is good or suppression is good. So shut up, idea.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to share with you.
Yes, and that happened to the little character in the book. And people said, that's silly, that's bad.
Right.
And he was going to disown the idea. But then he said, well, they don't really know.
Right.
That was the part that Jean loved. They don't really know. And so we could come to that. Well, no, they don't really know. Can we invite it out again? You know, get scared into a hole. May get scared into a hole many times. Some of the ideas that we want to bring into the world get scared back into their holes so many times, and then we have to bring them out again and invite them and say it's safe now. And we have to stick up for them, right? One thing that really struck me about what you said, Catherine, is that the notion that something is good or bad is the idea killer. You know, to say this is bad, shame is bad, or even to say something is good, then we don't explore it. It's good, you know. But if you say, well, why would it be bad? Is there any, one of the things that I love about Gene's philosophy and his way of doing therapy is that idea that there's something life affirming in the bad if you look deeply enough. You know, shame is something that sort of crinkles you and withers you, and you think, oh, that's bad, that's not good for you. Is there something in that it's trying to do that is good, it's helpful, it's for living? So those questions sort of bring it back out of its hole. It's like we want to ask inviting questions for it. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Did you ever get the original idea that you...
No, I'll have to go back and find that notebook.
You know, that's so interesting. It's sort of like a dream. And I find that true, that with a dream or with an idea, that it's very amorphous. Maybe that's why people say it's abstract. It's very amorphous at first, until it has its name, until it's been given attention, till it's been brought into articulation. And it can just sort of disappear, and then it's just out there. There's still a feeling of it, right? There's a feeling of it. And it might take more focusing. Even without your notebook, you might be able to get it back from the felt sense of it. And anybody else? Now we've given them a chance.
Yes, there was someone who wanted to be promoted and to come in, so I'm going to bring this person in. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, you have to unmute yourself, or if I can unmute you.
There I go.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
You're brave.
Yes, I am brave. Should I read the question that I had? Is that
Tell us your name first and where you're from.
Okay.
Because names, that's part of my my talk here is that names are so important. So your name is very important.
Okay. My name is Gretchen Jacobs. Hi. And I'm from Dayton, Ohio.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. So the question, should I ask my question?
Absolutely.
Okay, and now I forget what it was. It was what happened as we did the focusing session. What I noticed was I had kind of a specific idea, a specific question came up for me, or issue or idea.
Right.
And then I noticed another one came in, a couple other ones came in, and I noticed their quality, even though they were very different, was so similar to the first one. So I experienced what you said about earlier, about that they will be like, that you could include them as a family.
Yes.
And that really surprised me, and it was so revealing and really helpful. I think that was, so I don't know if I had a question so much, but that was the experience, and it was unexpected.
Let me say that back to you. That's such a lovely thing to bring in, that you had an idea that you could articulate to yourself, and then these other ideas that were very different came in, but you noticed that there was a similar quality to
Right.
it. And then you had the idea from me that I had expressed earlier, that they could be a family. And how were they a family?
Mm-hmm.
And that was intriguing and interesting to you and surprising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think what happened is it gave them more it gave it more validity, and each one became more valid. Each idea became stronger and worthy of attention, kind of, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice because, like I said, they were different ideas. But I couldn't dismiss them as easily as I might have dismissed them, previously.
Isn't that is a beautiful idea in itself, right? That's a beautiful
Right.
observation that some idea that's isolated, it's by itself, doesn't have the strength as the sense of community of ideas. This belongs to a tradition. This belongs to a community. This belongs to a family. And when it's connected to other ideas, then it takes on a different sort of gravitas in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to it. Jean talks a lot about that in terms of a theory. A theory is a community of ideas that belong together. We help them to belong together. Maybe originally they don't belong. Maybe they're fighting, but we connect them, and they become part of an organism, a larger organism, sort of like a community or a family, that work together. And that's what a theory is. So when you experience your ideas going together and having more solidity and validity, it's like some theory is forming there. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it just feels like things start to open up, and yeah, and like I said, I didn't expect that. So I don't know what I expected, but yeah, I want to come back to it. I want to and I don't want to dismiss it, because sometimes there's so much going on that, at least for myself, there might be a tendency to say, I'm going to have to let that go, and then I'll feel badly about it.
Yes.
So,
Two things I want to underline there. One of them is that ideas always, and this we know in focusing in general, there's always a quality of surprise.
mm-hmm.
Because it's coming from the implicit into the explicit world, from the bodily feeling world to the to including thinking and words, and it's always a surprise. And the other thing that I want to mark is that it is exciting. You don't want to put it aside. It has its own surprise, but its own, like the character in the book. You feel better with it around. You want it. You see it. It has something to give you. It's delicious. There's something, right? You don't maybe know what this thing. How do you eat this this avocado or whatever it is, and then
Right.
but there's something delicious there. You want it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. 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 It's almost as if you've already opened the door. You can't. You
Exactly.
can't not. Know. It's like you can't not know what you now know. That saying. Yeah. You can't unknow what you know or something. But
Yes, you
um, yeah.
you can't once you give birth to something, you can't unborn it. It's there, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Well,
for sharing that.
thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Do we have anybody else who would like to be seen and heard? Any other brave people?
While people are thinking, I might read some of the other comments. So Sarah Y says, got some good ideas about my idea and a deeper sense of motivation.
Say that, a deeper sense of motivation?
That's correct, yes.
I'm taking that in a felt sense way, a deeper sense of motivation. Give our idea attention. There's a deeper sense of motivation. And I just want to say that again. I think I've said it before, but ideas do something. They motivate us some way. And when we pay attention to it, it deepens this sense of motivation. In the Psychoanalytic Institute that I teach in, students are getting all kinds of theories, different theories, and are sort of very confused about what do I do with all these theories. And one of the things that I like to point out is that theory always has implicit in it a something to do or a way to be. And when we make that explicit for ourselves, it's like making the motivation of it known to us. It gives us a hook, and it gives us another way of relating to that theory or that idea. This is a theory about being more careful with my client, or this is a theory about that wants me to be more spontaneous, or this is a theory that wants me to really stay close to the client's experience, or whatever it is. If I get to what is it motivating me toward, it gives me a way of relating to the theory and a sort of handle on it. I'm ready for the next comment or question.
Sorry, I was on mute. So Dun Schachter says, the invitation of sensing into what the idea wants from me. That the idea is a living being. That added something very valuable to my process.
Yes.
Okay. There's a few more, so I'm gonna keep going.
Go ahead, sure.
Okay.
This may be also like another kind of focusing where you may read these comments and you may just take them in a felt sense way.
Let me pause you for a second, Henry. You wanted to do a demonstration also, right? Maybe we need to be clear with people what they can volunteer for now. Is it also just comments as we?
Well, no, we want the comments, and if somebody wants to go further, the demonstration would be I would help the person to go further with where they left off with their idea.
Okay, so okay, great. great.
So people could volunteer for that.
Great.
Yes.
So just be very explicit. If you are
Might be like
interested in that,
5 or 10 minutes
yeah.
to just do some, like we always do in focusing. We share our focusing process, so
Right.
we would be doing that.
Okay.
But I don't
so
want
anyone who
people
wants
to
do
feel,
that, volunteer.
yeah,
to be on
absolutely.
video.
You know, we could, if Gretchen wanted to, we could go further with this community of ideas that were emerging, and what they were and how they were and what that said, or, you know, any of the comments.
Right.
We could go back to yours that you couldn't remember and see what the felt sense of it was that wasn't remembered.
Okay. All right, so let's see if anyone wants to be on video to do that with Lynn.
Right, but any other comments are welcome too.
Okay. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to read Miriam's comment, which was, my idea lies on the ground or bottom of my belly, like a sick dog resting by my feet.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God. What a felt sense to that. Oh.
She has a little bit more. She
Oh,
said,
I love the
Yeah.
dog resting. Oh my goodness. Yes.
and she clarified that it's one of the out of gazillion ideas that float around me, lies on the ground like a sick dog.
Ah.
Okay.
The dog, I just want to clarify the dog, this idea is like a sick dog.
Hmm.
I had thought it was like a thick, I was picturing the comfort of the dog lying at my feet. But this is a sick dog.
Yep, it's a sick dog.
It needs tender, it needs healing, this dog, right? It needs care. It really needs something to bring it back to life.
Mm-hmm.
Very evocative. Wow.
Or to let it die, is that possible?
Well, it could be, but maybe it wouldn't lie at my feet. Where we don't know, right? This is what's it's evoking in us, but only Miriam knows the felt sense of that.
And she's saying no to that.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
It doesn't want to be left to die.
Not die. Okay.
Right, it wants to be brought back
wants to be
I mean, a dog, it's so evocative for me because dogs are so alive. They're the epitome of aliveness. And then for it to be a sick dog lying at my feet.
Wants love.
Yeah, wants something to let it be frisky again and play again. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Lynn. I'm going to go to the next person. Actually, Miriam also asked to volunteer. So since we were on her topic, why don't we invite her in?
Yes, wonderful.
There were also a couple of others, so just to bear that in mind.
Great.
Who are volunteering. Okay.
So why don't we start with Miriam? Hi, I see you here.
You're going to unmute her. There we go. You're unmuted.
Hi, thank you for that reflection.
You're welcome. Thank you for that beautiful description.
Yeah.
Maybe we could go back. I'm going to just bring you down a little so I can see a little bit better. Maybe Catherine can do that.
Or do you want to make it
lower.
bigger?
Yeah, let's make it a little bigger. Ah,
that
that's
helpful?
very,
Okay.
yes, very nice.
That even better? Okay.
Yeah. Now I can see very well.
Hmm.
Let's go back to that image.
Yeah.
The feeling of that sick dog lying at your feet.
Yeah. It feels wounded, like its bones are broken and it can't stand and run.
It's really hurt.
Yeah.
I feel a kind of sadness,
Yeah.
a teariness as you say that.
Yeah, I feel it too.
Bones are broken and it can't even stand.
Yeah. Hearing that, it begins to feel like it could maybe begin to stand up.
Could begin to stand up maybe if we, with our attention,
Yeah.
with our love.
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm not sure this is the right question, so if it is, I don't feel you have to answer it. But I wondered, did somebody hurt this idea? Somebody did it?
Yeah. Somebody did it.
Somebody did it. Oh,
Yeah. It was an idea that was like, mm, what do you call this thing in the sky? Fireworks in the sky.
fireworks in the sky.
Yeah, it was lighting up the whole sky full of colors.
Wow. Goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was such a wonderful idea. And then some people came and they heard it and it became a wounded dog. Hmm.
Did they hit it? Were they threatened by it?
I can't hear you, Lynn. You're very quiet.
I'm asking Miriam if the people who hurt the dog, the idea, were they threatened by that? The eye being lit up, or
Maybe I was too powerful lighting up the sky all by myself. Yeah.
yes, maybe they were threatened by you being too powerful, that idea being too powerful.
Yeah, it was a very powerful idea. It would change the world.
Wow, it would change the world.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the name of the idea, or?
Yeah, I could check for a name for it. Mm. Right now, it only has one word.
Yeah.
Children.
Children.
Yeah. Mm.
So the name right now is the children.
There's something about it. I don't have the words for it. It was a humongous idea pertaining to children.
A humongous idea.
Yeah, humongous fireworks all over the sky, like purple, red, orange, yellow, teal.
Wow!
Yeah.
Really? Lighting up the sky.
Yeah. Something about children that was just, I don't have words for it.
Yes.
But most people don't like this idea.
Most people don't like it.
Right. Most people just want this idea about children to be a wounded dog on the floor.
Something in me wants to say, let's not give them their way. We're kneeling down, we're giving water to the dog, we're nuzzling the face of the dog, we're speaking to the dog, we're paying attention to the dog, coaxing the dog.
I kind of lost the sense of the dog, so I would like to close my eyes for a moment. Because there's something about the fireworks and then something about it turning into a wounded dog. And there's something in between these, in the space between, like there's a step missing.
Yes, I can see that this is up here.
Yeah.
That's down there, and there's something else. There's something.
Yeah.
There's such a difference between the fireworks and the.
Yeah.
We're gonna just find that.
Yeah.
Step that's missing. What connects them?
I'm not sure because I have a sense of rush because I feel like we've taken up time, and it feels good enough that we've identified these two for now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes, I could see. I would be very pleased if you wrote me more about it. I'm sure everybody will have my email, and I would love to hear more about it. I just want to notice that it might not be safe to tell us more about the idea, what the idea is or does or says exactly now, because it's been hurt and it may not want to speak right now so publicly about itself. Is that right?
No, because no, the focusing people really do. I think that they would help it go. How they would help the fireworks come back.
Oh wow! I'm glad that I said that, because that was so not true. No, you want this idea to be spoken, to be articulated, to be spelled out.
Yeah, because I feel as we're talking, like my body is moving back into fireworks mode.
Yes, yes, yes. You know, that idea is a very responsive dog. It's not one that just lays down and dies. It's one that just give it a little attention, and it wags its tail and yes.
It's a magical dog. It turns into fireworks when it gets attention.
Yes, yes.
Like the pumpkin that turned into Cinderella. Or Cinderella turned, I don't know which one turned into what.
Well, I guess both. Right. Yes. Thank you so much, Miriam, for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
If you want to write us more about the idea, please feel welcome to.
Thank you.
We have some other questions that we want to give a chance to be spoken before. Let me just look at our timing here. What's our timing, Kathy?
Well, we have about 15 minutes left. You wanted to leave time for discussion after the demonstration, and then we just need a few minutes at the end. So about 10 more minutes just for open discussion, or if
Yeah, for other
whatever you want.
questions, whatever we
whatever
all
comes,
want,
whatever
right?
we all want.
Yes.
And then just 5 minutes at the end.
And
to wrap
then
up.
other comments that were written, let's hear them, and then anything about Miriam and my focusing, anything is welcome for 10 minutes. Any kind of question, comment, thought, feel free to be on the screen.
I'm gonna maybe just go in order chronologically. So Carol Ann said, a real surprise. This was after doing the experience that you led. Something long-term in my life that I thought was coming to a close intimated that there is more to come, perhaps with a different emphasis. I don't know how it will go forward, yet I feel there is more life in this. Thank you.
Wow. That's that kind of inkling of the forward movement. It's so exciting when something begins to move and begins to come alive.
And there are actually 2 more people who wanted to do a demo, so I'm not sure if we invite them to write something or.
Oh, let's we can do a 5-minute demo. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I'll just do the in chronological order, just to be fair. I don't know who to pick. This was from, but it was from an anonymous viewer. So unless you tell me who you are, I can't choose you. So I think I might have to pick the other person, which is Peter. Okay, so Peter is here.
So the first thing, the pre-idea I had was had already a name.
Yes. Tell us the name.
Yeah,
It already has a name.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's a living movement or a live movement.
A live movement or
Yeah.
living movement.
Yeah, and it's
Has a name, yes.
to what I do, and so yeah, it's a question, and it's yeah, and yeah, it feels like a promising idea.
Like a promising idea
Yes.
that this alive movement, it's promising something. Just see for a moment what it's promising.
Mm. And I came a bit forward already, following your steps, so to say, or
Yes.
and I came to something. Somehow I don't. When I came to felt sense, and I found some a fuzzy edge. Then what I got was rather negative, not positive. So it's like a movement with no biomechanics.
Movement with no biomechanics.
And so it should have what another way of working with it, or thinking while working with it.
Yes, yes. That you want something not only that it doesn't have, but something that it does have.
But, yeah, but
No biomechanics, but you want.
what I want, I don't know yet. And that's,
There's a more that it is.
yes.
See if there's an image for you of the movement without biomechanics. If you could feel that, what it's like.
Mm.
What quality does it have?
Yeah. It, well, it has a um, it has a it has a flow.
A flow?
It has some power.
Some power.
Yeah, and so this is maybe it is intention in movement.
Maybe it's intention in movement. That's a beautiful phrase, yes.
And I realize now that intention has one root in common with intense.
That it may have something to do with intense.
So, yeah, intense and intention.
Yeah.
And it is somehow, maybe it is intensity of intention that overflows and comes into movement somehow. And
Yes, let me say that back. That's beautiful. Something about intensity of intention that overflows into movement.
yeah. And actually now I'm catching myself on stealing an idea. And
Now you're catching yourself. What was that next part?
I stole an idea.
You stole an idea.
It is not all of it is mine. That overflow into movement is I heard that for someone. but the intensity of intention is new and is
Yes.
is beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, it's beautiful. I would love to go much further with you, but I think we don't have too much time left. But I want to just make a comment about that feeling of catching yourself stealing an idea. And, you know, all ideas, I believe, are stolen. You know, all ideas, because we aren't separate entities. We think together. We don't think separately. Everything, we are interaction. So our ideas are interaction. And so that idea of stealing an idea comes from a model of thinking. That's an idea that comes out of the heritage of thinking of human beings as all separate little brains that think in isolation. And if we have the idea that we are all interactive energies, then there's no way you can really steal an idea, unless, I guess, stealing it is saying, well, this is mine and only mine, and I'm the only one that thought of this. But that was a wonderful example of that, and I would encourage you to go on stealing lots of ideas that will go with your intensity of intention and will become a community with it, and then that becomes a theory. I always say to my students always say, oh, I have to give you credit. You were the one that said this or that, or I have to quote you. And I say, oh, take anything I think or say is all yours. Take it, do whatever you want to do with it. That will give it new life. So that's a nice place for us to end that that little part.
And no shame. Yeah, no shame about stealing. Okay.
No shame about stealing.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
And we only have about 2 minutes left, so whatever you want to say, we'll go. So however you want to wrap up.
Well, I think I would just wrap up by expressing my appreciation for everybody's comments, and especially, those people who came on screen, and you, Catherine, and it was wonderful playing with ideas. It felt like a lovely appetizer, and maybe we'll do another one, to a part 2, to be able to flesh these things out more and talk more about theory and how theory, the relationship of ideas and theory and concepts and all of that, and philosophy that broadens it out. But I've had a lovely time with you all, and thank you. There was something else I wanted to say. Just the feeling of our playing together and thinking together, and how these are Jean's words. I steal everything from Jean. That the atmosphere becomes thicker each time anybody says something. You feel the more of it, the deeper, richer soup that we're all making together.
Say thank you to everyone for coming. Thank you again, Lynn.
Thank you. And I really would encourage you to email me, because I'd love to hear from you, and email me a picture of yourself.
Oh, yes.
I can't get to see them.
I know. Pragmatically, it wouldn't work with so many people.
But they can send me pictures.
But they can send pictures, or Facebook, again, is a way to see pictures of people. It's a great way to connect.
Well, you can friend me on you can friend me on Facebook.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And Henry, thank you so much. This absolutely wouldn't happen without Henry, and he makes everything go so smoothly. He's a real pro. So thank you, everybody.
You, everyone, Catherine and Lynn.
I have some lovely ideas.
And we'll be able to read the comments that were sent that we're not reading. We'll be able to see them later, so don't worry, they won't be lost. Good. Okay, thank you. Have a great rest of your Saturday. With some people, it's nighttime. In Israel, it's nighttime for them. So.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Henry, I'll just read these comments as Henry is. Henry will have to turn us off, but thank you, Lynn, for your gentle way of teaching and listening and following each person who shared. You helped me stretch my mind. That's from Margot Steinfeld.
Oh.
And what was the name of the woman that you first worked with? She said, thank you, Henry. The first woman, I don't remember. And Peter also says thank you. So, yeah, good. All right, so Henry, you're going to end the meeting for us all. some people are asking that we send the chat.
Yeah. I will end it.
Hmm?
But we're gonna end it now.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.
I don't know how many people are still. There's still 25 people hanging around. Oh, that's nice. Nobody wants to leave. This is like, you know how in a movie sometimes if you stay for the whole credits, there's like a little bonus.
Yes. Oh, we should think of something interesting.
Yeah, maybe we could do our dance routine that we practiced.
Well, you're going to be playing the drums in the car.
I am going to be playing. I'll show people if they're hanging around. I'll show them.
Show them your drums.
Wait, so I came to Lynn's apartment. For people who are here, I came to Lynn's apartment with this drum because I go to Central Park. People are, we still got 25 people. I go to Central Park on Saturdays and Sundays. I usually, actually, Lynn and I are members of the same congregation. Usually I would be in church at this time of day. But then after that, on Sunday afternoons, I go into Central Park with my little stool here, cute little stool. And then this is my drum, djembe drum. They're from West Africa. Oh, well, I would say in its bag still, so you can't really hear it. But it's really the most wonderful, thing I do in my life. Yeah, see?
Whoa!
That's my drum.
Look at that.
And
oh my God!
it's very powerful. Very powerful. You get a bunch of people playing this at the same time in Central Park.
Really?
It's really, honestly, it's really an ecstatic experience.
Yeah, we have that in Montreal every Sunday too.
Huh?
We have that in Montreal every Sunday as well.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That is fabulous. What a wonderful thing.
It's really wonderful. And on Saturdays and Sundays, and we get like maybe at times on a beautiful day like this, we'll get like 70, 80 people just hanging around watching and dancing and and filming.
Video it.
Yeah, there are films on it. Actually, there's on Facebook. There is there is a page, New York City Central Park Drumming Circle, and you can see videos. You'll see me, in most of them. You can see me there. But actually, it was really fun last weekend. It was nighttime, so I didn't get a good picture or video of this. But these 3 women from Kuwait. I didn't know originally, but they were in the full abaya, their faces weren't covered, but they had the full black robes on. And they were there like dancing and taking selfies. It was so contrary to our vision of what women who dress like that act like.
Really?
They were just being so playful and silly.
Great.
And when we took a pause, they came over and they started drumming on my drum, and it was just really playful. And then right after they left, Snow White and Hansel and Gretel came by. I don't know what, but really these people and these outfits, not in a stupid like thing that you buy at the store, but they have these like, I think they must have been in a children's play or something, but they came by and Snow White was playing.
My goodness. Wow.
Anyway,
So
it's great. If you come to New York, anybody who's there, come to New York and visit me.
Yes. Another thing that I might say is I mentioned Greg Madison's work on democracy. There's a World Day of Listening.
I didn't mention
October 21st.
Yeah.
We could send them with the email.
Yeah.
October 21st
make a note.
is listening in a focusing way to people's concerns about the world and hopes for the world and fears for the world.
Yeah.
October 21st is a
I
special listening day.
love that. And I just it's happening so quickly, and I've been thinking about what I'd love to support anything that's happening. We really, we've got the week long coming up next week on Friday. And then there's the children focusing conference in Greece, which I'm planning to go to. So I just, we can't we haven't been able to organize anything special for that day, but we'd love to support. If anybody is doing anything on the World Day of Listening that they want us to, post on our Facebook.
I'm going to be presenting at a conference that day in Boston, and what I'm going to do is write to the conference organizers and ask if I can have a breakfast with people's concerns about the world and just have an open listening circle at the conference. So people may have all kinds of things that they think of doing something for with the PTA people or your neighborhood people, or just even gathering your family and listening and talking and listening about concerns for the world. Doing something on Skype. It doesn't have to be formal.
It doesn't have to be formal and big. Wow, thank you. You really just freed my mind up from thinking, I hear World Day of Listening. I think it has to be a big event, but it can just be lots of little tiny one-on-one even.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I could just, with my drum.
Yes, that's
I could have a sign.
Yes,
that says, I will listen.
Yes.
Come
it's
over
the
the
World
corner.
Day of Listening, and I'm here to listen to your concerns about the world.
I love it. I love it. Isn't it a weekend, right? The
Friday.
It's a Friday.
Okay, I think we
All
have
right.
to say
Well, so we
these
still have
folks.
16 people. So anyway, well.
Bye.
Oh, there's Henry. Hey,
Hi, Henry.